This is the Millionaires Roundtable. I'm your host, Lynn Richardson. We are creating millionaires one family at a time, one day at a time, $1 at a time, one dime at a time. And that means you. This is the Millionaires Roundtable. I am your host, Lynn Richardson, and we are creating millionaires one family at a time, one day at a time, $1 at a time, and one dime at a time. And that means you. And I'm so excited because I know many of you want a game plan. You want step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. You are ready to take your finances back. You are ready to take your power back. You are ready to live the financially free life that you deserve. So guess what? I'm going to talk about all of the stair steps to wealth today, and I'm going to give you a checklist of things you can do along the way as you transform your life and transform your finances. So, stair step number 1, live below your means. Spend less money. There's no way to get to the next level financially by spending more money than you make. You know, there was a time when I was living check to check. Let me tell you the truth. I was living check to Monday. You see, check to check is a blessing. That means you get paid on Friday, and by the next payday, you're broke. But check to Monday is an entirely different game. You get paid on Friday, you kick it on the weekend, you pay on your past due bills. Because in your mind, your current bills are not due yet. You know I'm telling the truth. And by Monday, you're broke. And I was living that lifestyle, making $20, $30, $40, $50, $60, $70, $80,000 a month. It didn't matter how much money I made. I always found a way to be broke. I'll never forget knowing that I had a $30,000 check coming and spending it before it got there. And then something would happen with one of my deals. It wouldn't close. And the $30,000 check is now a $20,000 check. Let me tell you, it was crazy. You cannot spend more money than you make and become financially free. And the bigger they are, the harder they fall. So here's the deal. If you make $20,000 a year, but you spend $40,000, you're living check to Monday. If you make $200,000 a year, but you're spending $300,000, you're living check to Monday. If you make $10 million a year, but you spend $20 million, you're living check to Monday. And the more money you make and the more money you spend that is in excess of what you make, the more trouble you are in, the more problems you have, the more depression is associated. So let me tell you this, more money does not make you happy. And I know a lot of people want to test that. Every time I post that on social media, people say, well, I want to find out. No, you don't. You do not want to have $10 million worth of problems and only have $2 million worth of solutions. You don't want that. You'd much rather have $20,000 worth of problems and only $10,000 worth of solutions than to have $10 million worth of problems. Because the more money you have, there are responsibilities, attachments, and obligations associated with that. When I was only making $20,000 a year, all I had was me, my husband, and our apartment. When I was making $400,000 or $500,000 a year and had no money, I had me, my husband, my children. I had moved my mother and grandmother into a house that I couldn't afford. I had employees. I knew their family. I knew their children. I had a whole lot of problems. Okay? So when you have more money, it does not mean more happiness. And more money will never solve a money problem. More money makes you more of who you already are. So the first stair step, spend below your means. Live below your means. Live by the 10-10-30-50. There's a worksheet. If you're in the 21 Days to Financial Freedom, there's a worksheet in my program. The first 10% you tithe. The next 10% you save. The next 30% is cash in your pocket so you can avoid a spending addiction. A spending addiction is what you have when you go to the grocery store for toothpaste and walk out with $179.47 worth of stuff you don't need. Talking about it was on sale. That was not on sale for you. Okay? It wasn't on sale for you. If it ain't free, it ain't on sale for you. All right? And the remaining 50% stays in your checking account for your bills. If you have more than enough money, do not go out and buy new cars, new houses, new everything, taking everybody everywhere. Pay off your debt. Because debt is the middleman between you and your wealth. When you're paying debt, you're paying interest, and interest is working for somebody else. How do you feel about that? You want your money working for somebody else, or do you want it working for you? Your money needs to work for you, so pay off your debt. If you don't have enough money, then you have to subtract anything that's in the way. There are too many people who have children in college, and you can't afford it, and you feel guilty. Let me tell you something. In my household, I love education. I have degrees, and I've gone to some of the best schools in the world. So have my daughters. But in my household, school is free. If you get A's, you go to school for free. If you get C's, you go to the free school. Now, my oldest two daughters got A's. My youngest was a rebel. She said, well, Mom, what's the free school? The community college up the street. That's where you're going. She got those A's. And she got a scholarship because she knew what she wanted to do. So if it's the kid that's in school, if it's the private school tuition, if it's the house that's too expensive, if it's the car that's too expensive, whatever it is that is interrupting the mathematical equation that equals wealth, get rid of it. Okay? If it doesn't fit, get rid of it. It doesn't belong in your budget. So the first stair step is to spend less money, live below your means. The next stair step is to get rid of your debt, because your money can work harder for you than you can ever work for it. So if you have debt, then your money is working for somebody else, and you simply want to eliminate it. How are you going to do that? You're going to go by the debt snowball method. That's what I believe. Some people say take the debt with the highest interest rate, pay it off first. I don't believe that. I believe that hardworking people were already struggling. We're trying to get some wins. Take the lowest debt, pay it off so you can get some wins. So take your extra money that was in your 50%, take all that extra money, throw it on that lowest debt. Once that lowest balance debt is paid off, now take all the money you were paying on that debt, pay it on the next lowest debt. When that debt is paid off, take all the money from that debt and keep going. Now, if you're part of my Entrepreneurs Academy at lynnrichardson.com, when you get your financial assessment, I'd go through everything with you. If you are not, then you can go through it on your own, but that's how you want to take care of it. The next stair step that you want to deal with is a home-based business. Everybody needs a home-based business. Everybody needs multiple streams of income, because one stream of income is hazardous to your wealth. Let me repeat, one stream of income is hazardous to your wealth. So not only do you need additional streams of income, one of those streams needs to be income from a home-based business, a sole proprietorship, or a single member LLC that operates like a sole proprietorship. Why? Because you get to report the income and the expenses on Schedule C of your 1040 tax return. And if you have a loss in your home-based business, or minimally, if you are able to write off things like your mobile phone, your car when you drive it, your business trips, and about 400 other tax deductions, it's going to decrease your adjusted gross income and put you in a position where you can pay less taxes legally, ethically, and morally. Now, everything I learned about taxes, I learned from Sandy Bakken. Sandy Bakken used to be an IRS attorney. He used to work for the IRS, training the IRS agents on how to go out and get people. He left the IRS decades ago, and now all he does is train self-employed people like you and I. I've been studying his work and his leadership and his coaching for over 12 years. And so everything that I tell you, I get it straight from the IRS. When you have a home-based business, IRS Publication 15, page 13, says you can hire your children to work in your home-based business. You can pay each child up to $12,400 a year. You can pay that child the money that's a tax write-off to you. And now the money that you pay the child can now buy their own things. They can buy their own school clothes, school supplies. They can pay their tuition, video games, Christmas presents, birthday presents, and anything else they want to buy with that money that you paid them. It's called income shifting. and the wealthy have been doing it forever. So when you see people like Warren Buffett and Mitt Romney and Jeff Bezos paying less taxes per dollar than people who make less than 1,000th of 1% that they make, it's because they understand the tax code and or they've hired people who understand the tax code. So when you have a home-based business, you have access to tax deductions. And my mentor, Sandy Bakken, says, if you don't have a home-based business, you're brain dead. You know, he jokes about it. I laugh about it, but I think it's kind of true. Okay. So we don't want to be brain dead. We want to have a home-based business. We want to start to put our gifts to work and put ourselves in a position where we can get our money back. So the first 3 stair steps fall into this category. 1, you must spend less money. 2, you must get more money. And 3, you must get your money back. You must do all 3 things if you want to build wealth. You see, lots of people have figured out how to spend less money. Even more people have figured out how to get more money. But if you don't learn how to get your money back, then you're paying too much in taxes. And the more money you make, the more the IRS will take. So getting your money back is essential to building and maintaining long-term wealth. Now let's talk about stair step number 4. Stair step number 4 is dealing with your retirement plan. And you want to start to plan for retirement now. You want to put as much money as you can into your employer-provided 401k plan and take advantage of any matching dollars they provide. This is the Millionaires Roundtable. I'm your host, Lynn Richardson. We'll be right back.
Meet Lynn Richardson, celebrity financial expert. You might have seen Lynn on Good Morning America giving financial advice. For more than 2 decades of having leading roles in the banking and real estate sales industries, Lynn has helped clients face their money issues and achieve their personal, professional, and financial goals. Lynn is committed to using her financial expertise to benefit others. She's helped thousands of clients get out of debt, start home-based businesses, and create multiple streams of income. To learn more, please visit lynnrichardson.com, where financial dreams meet focus to generate wealth. Check out Tax Talk Thursday with Lynn Richardson as she and her special guests give tools and tips to help us better understand the state and federal tax system.
Just give us something that we can use to get those who have never understood the tax system and how it works.
We have 2 tax systems in this country. And when I say that, I always have people say, oh, sure, one for rich and one for poor. That is not true. That's a myth. There's one to make you rich and there's one to take your wealth, basically.
Learn how to get greater tax returns or learn how your business write-offs can lower your taxes.
It's more about how much money you keep than it is about how much money you earn, right?
Yeah.
Would you rather earn $2 million and end up with $1 million, or would you rather earn 1.25 million and keep it all?
We are creating millionaires one family at a time, one day at a time, $1 at a time, and $1 dime at a time. And that means you.
Tune in to Tax Talk Thursday on lynnrichardson.tv.
Share and subscribe. This is the Millionaires Roundtable. I'm your host, Lynn Richardson, and we are doing a review for those who want a step-by-step action plan for getting their money to the next level. Well, guess what? You've got it right here. We're talking about the stair steps to wealth. Number 1, spend less money. Number 2, pay off your debt. Number 3, get a home-based business so you can get access to over 400 tax deductions. Number 4, start your retirement planning now. Put any money that you have available into your employer-provided 401k plan. Take advantage of any matching dollars. That's free money. If you are self-employed and you do not have an employer-provided 401k plan, if you are your sole employee, you can start a solo 401k. If you're a married couple, same thing, solo 401k. If you have other employees and you're self-employed, then you can start a SEP, an SEP, a self-employed pension plan, okay? So you want to take advantage of any opportunity to put money away for retirement. And you want to start small and you want to be consistent. And over time, you will see that your funds will outperform the stock market and you will see an increase in value over time. Your retirement money is not to be used for emergencies. Your retirement money is not to be used to go on a vacation. Your retirement money is not to be used to buy a home. Now, I know that The laws allow you to borrow from your 401k to purchase your first home. I don't really recommend that. If owning a home is a necessity, perhaps because you're moving to a new state because of a job or something like that, and you absolutely must borrow from your 401k, then move forward with the transaction, but be on a consistent, persistent plan to pay your 401k back. Otherwise, I highly recommend that you save at least 6 months of living expenses before you attempt to purchase a home and leave your 401k out of it. The next thing that you want to do on the stair steps to wealth is you want to protect everything that you've built. You want proper life insurance. If you're self-employed, disability insurance. A lot of people think that disability insurance is only available if your employer provides it. But if you're self-employed and something happens to you, you're the breadwinner and everything will go down. So you don't want to be in a position where, let's say if you're a speaker, what happens if your voice no longer is operable? People get laryngitis, people get illnesses. There are all kinds of things that could impact your voice. There are things that could impact your ability to perform mechanic work, any kind of labor. If you are self-employed and you provide a service or you're responsible for preparing any kind of a product, you want disability insurance. The other thing that you need in your business, if you're self-employed, is key man insurance. Let's say, for example, you have a mechanic business and you have a star mechanic, and that person is responsible for not only providing excellent service, but doing so at a minimized cost. What happens if that mechanic gets ill and you've got all these customers who now need their cars fixed? You're either going to go bankrupt paying them back, or you're going to go bankrupt trying to find 2 or 3 mechanics to replace your star mechanic. So if you have a star employee in your business, you need insurance on that person just in case something happens to them. And if something happens to them, you have an insurance policy to take care of replacing that person. Because studies show that if a key man is in a business, and that's a key man or a key woman, but it's called a key man insurance policy, studies show that if someone is helping your company perform and excel, in order to get someone else to come in and do the same job, first of all, they have to learn. They have to learn the company culture. They have to understand what happened in the past. They can't just pick up. And many times it will not only take one person, but 2 or 3 or possibly even 4. People say in my company, it'll take 8 people to replace me. I believe it because I feel like an octopus with 8 legs, okay, or arms or whatever they have. So make sure you get key man insurance. The other thing you want to make sure you have is enough life insurance to protect your family or your loved ones or the causes that you care about in the event of your death. All death is premature and people do not die in chronological order. So don't just assume you're going to be here or that someone else will. Get the protection that you need. So even if you don't wake up tomorrow, your legacy can continue. And then finally, under this area of protection, make sure you have an estate plan, not just a will. A will can be contested. Children, husbands, wives, people can pop up out of the woodwork and stake a claim to your stuff after you're gone. And your heirs will have to deal with probate. In order to avoid probate, you need to have your single family residence put into an estate, and you need to ensure that your estate plan provides for all of the things that you would want to have protected and covered in the event that you were here to provide that protection and coverage. An estate plan is essentially a business plan for your money and your assets after you pass on. The next stair step that you want to deal with is owning where you live. Stair step number 6, owning where you live. If you can pay somebody else's mortgage, you can pay your own. If you're in a high cost state, then you want to assess whether buying real estate is the best option for you. And even if you are in a high cost state, consider purchasing a second home or even a primary residence someplace else. With many people working virtually now, you can live anywhere. Okay? So if your job previously required that you go into a building, but no longer requires that you show up at an office to perform your tasks, then technically you can live anywhere. So you want to make a decision about the cost of living and where it's going to be most effective for you to own real estate, to own where you live, and even potentially own income property so that you can live in that property, rent out the other units, have the other tenants pay the mortgage, and you live rent free. In addition to that, real estate is an important part of building a passive stream of income and a portfolio of assets that continue to create income for you over time. And we'll talk about that in future episodes. Number 7, stair step number 7, credit. Take care of it. Remember to treat your creditors as you'd have your debtors treat you. Remember to pay your bills on time. And also remember, if you have a 0 credit score, you can still buy a home and do many other things that people think you can't do. Finally, remember that bankruptcy is not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. People recover from bankruptcy. As a matter of fact, people who file bankruptcy are much better off than people who just deal with bad credit year after year after year after year after decade. Have you had bad credit for 10 years, 15 years? Has your credit score been less than 700 for more than 5 years? Doesn't have to be that way. Okay, so I'm not saying everybody go out and file bankruptcy. When I filed bankruptcy, I was repentant. I was apologetic to myself. I didn't feel like I owed anybody anything, but I did not want to continue to make those bad mistakes. So I was reflective. I made the changes and I recovered. And you can too. Stair step number 8, my favorite. Give, tithe, stop hoarding. Allow someone else to be the recipient of the blessings and the things that you have been gifted with. Pour into somebody else's life. Giving is the freeway to your pathway to success. So guess what? We're going to take a few calls because I know that there are many questions out there, and let's see what we can do to help a couple folks get to the next level financially.
Thank you for taking my call, Dr. Lim. My name is Sabrina.
Hi.
So since COVID has hit, we're down to one income. My husband is still working. However, it's been a little tight, but we've made it through. We're still able to pay all our bills and everything. So I should be going back to work in the next 60 days.
Okay.
So I've been trying to convince my husband that we should stay on this one income and keep saving money when I start to work. Can you give me some tools to use to further convince him that we should do the best we can on this one income and save the other income and pay off some bills with the new income that comes in? Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. COVID taught us some things. COVID definitely came in and swept us away, took us by surprise. We didn't know what we were doing, where we were going. But the truth is, we've gained some valuable lessons. The pandemic, while it's certainly disrupted lives, some lives have ended, unfortunately. And my heart and my prayers go out to those families who've lost people due to COVID. But in anything, remember this: all things work together for good for those who love God and are called according to his purpose. And if you have learned how to live on one income, when you get that second income, stack it. We are facing one of the worst recessions in the history of the world. So your job is to stack your dollars. Don't spend 1 cent. And here's what you tell your husband. Here's what you tell your spouse, anybody who's in this situation. Contact my office. Go to linrichardson.com. Sign up for a consultation. Let's look at your income. And we're going to show your significant other how much money you'll have after 1 year, after 3 years, after 5 years. You'll be well on your way to that $1 million net worth we're talking about. This is the Millionaires Roundtable. I'm your host, Lynn Richardson. We are creating millionaires one family at a time, one day at a time, $1 at a time, and one dime at a time. And I'll see you next time.
Now stay tuned for a sneak peek of Wealthy Wednesday on LynnRichardson.tv. People straight on that.
Let me tell you. So for those who don't know the 10, 10, 30, 50, first of all, you can get all the details in my book. Don't forget to subscribe and share, all that stuff. But in Living Check to Monday, I broke it down because I was making $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a month. I was still broke. And so I started actually following the rules, which are the truth. So the first 10% you tithe, the next 10% you save.
Yes.
The 30% is cash in your pocket. Cash for your incidentals, like groceries, gas, hair, nails. If it doesn't fit, get rid of it. And then the remaining 50% stays in your checking account for your bills. If you have more than enough money, that's not a license to go buy a lot of stuff. You want to get rid of your debt. If you don't have enough money, then you have to subtract.
And I was like, oh my God, this makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And I think people can appreciate, especially, I've been with you many times when you've spoken live to, thousands of women. And when they hear that breakdown of 10, 10, 30, 50, and you go into each and why it's important, it feels like they just ready to get loose. It's like, oh my goodness, this is what I've been doing.
People are free. So if you don't put your appointments in your calendar, you'll be one place like, oh, I forgot about that. So we just call it a schedule. We keep it clean. We keep it easy. So I want everybody on this Wealthy Wednesday, Light said it, people hear it and they're like, oh my God, that's freedom. This is a freedom series. This is about you going to the next level. The 10, 10, 30, 50, the first 10% you tithe, the next 10% you save, 30% cash, and it's to help you avoid a spending addiction, which is what you have when you go to the grocery store for toothpaste and you walk out with $179.47 for the stuff you don't need. We're going to talk about that on another Wealthy Wednesday.
Share and subscribe.
Meet Lynn Richardson, author, entertainment executive, TV personality, and celebrity financial coach.
Please say hello to financial expert, my girl, Lynn Richardson. My buddy, finance expert, Lynn Richardson.
Hey, everybody.
Why do you need Lynn's help?
She uses her quick wit and humorous presentation style to help others face their issues and achieve their personal and professional goals, as well as spiritual harmony.
So I tell our sisters, you go to a rack, $500 purse. Self, do you usually have $500? $20 purse. Self, that's usually how much you got. That's the purse that you get off the rollback rack.
In this current economic crisis due to COVID-19, Sean Diddy Combs invited Lynn Richardson to contribute to his new website, OurFairShare.com, in which Lynn explains the Paycheck Protection Plan that assists small businesses in gaining access to U.S. government funds. Over the last 20 years, Lynn used her financial expertise to create a curriculum of books and online classes to help clients achieve financial freedom. Lynn teaches clients how to get out of credit card debt, shows them how to start a home-based business, and to create multiple streams of income. Lynn Richardson is a celebrity financial coach and founder of the 700 Credit Club. Lynn wants to talk to you about one of the biggest issues that can separate you from your financial freedom, and that's your credit score. Lynn overcame 2 bankruptcies and foreclosure, but with this plan, her score is now over 700, and she's inviting you to join the 700 Credit Club today. Here you'll learn to build your credit and have the financial freedom you dreamed of. For more information about the 700 Credit Club, please visit LynnRichardson.com.
Hi, I'm Lynn Richardson, and I'm excited about teaching you how to build multiple streams of income. But more importantly, I'm excited about teaching you why. I'm a financial expert, but I think there are some things you need to know about me that you'll never read in a newspaper or magazine or see anywhere. I was born and raised in Chicago. As a matter of fact, my grandmother, who passed away almost at the age of 98, she was 75 years old, cleaning homes for wealthy people, putting me through college. I grew up in the projects. I knew we weren't rich, but I didn't feel poor. When I needed money for something, I'd say, Grandma, I need money for a field trip. She'd tell me to go look in the room, on top of the shelf, inside the box, inside my pocketbook, inside the zipper, wrapped up in a piece of paper towel. It's $20. She'd hide the money like 20,000 times. So when I went off to college, I didn't know a lot about money. What I knew is I needed access to it. So I made the mistake that many people make. I went into a room, multiple credit card distributors were there. I didn't get one credit card. I decided to get one of each.